unlike any other sport, that sport, I mean, they could find ways to get rid of 99% of the dudes in the league and nobody would notice. So I can't blame them for so much. The issue is Mike McCarthy and his staff. And let me tell y'all something, last quote. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to nosedive, and I'm not saying it will because they got a weak schedule. But if it continues to nosedive, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike McCarthy is fired before this season's over.
And it won't do a damn thing because it's not the coach and it's not the players. It's the owner/GM. That's right. I'm going right back to that. Why? Because they're the ones doing the drafting. They're putting the coaching staff in place to develop. And their sense was this team is ready to win. Look at this talent we've assembled. It's the head coach failed on two levels, talking about Jason Garrett. One, the play calling, right? Like you draft Ezekiel Elliott 4th overall. He exceeds the expectations. If anything, you have a great offensive line, and you're punting from midfield instead of going for it on 4th and 1. Stuff like that. Okay, that's not going to fly, and especially in the modern NFL. And the other thing was the CEOing of it all. Jason Garrett wasn't the right CEO for the job. But Mike McCarthy, he said he knows the analytics now. He didn't pay attention to them before, but now he understands he must pay attention to them. And that's a CEO of an organization. Look at him. He's a Super Bowl champion, and the Green Bay Packers, too, the frozen tundra, right? And he was presided over this for a long time. So he's the right guy to put in place because, damn it, we have the players. No, you don't. The reason that we always overvalue or overestimate the value of the Cowboys players is because they're the most covered team. So we're familiar with them. We can name their whole offensive line. I mean, and the offensive line deserved it. But what other team can you name so many players on that you know by name in the NFL, the average fan, as the Cowboys, because they're covered constantly. And so they're a little bit overvalued as players, as talents, both sides of the ball. No, the owner who keeping himself as GM is not assembling as much talent as he thinks he is. This team was not as ready as he thought they were, and it wasn't just an issue of getting the best kind of CEO feeling kind of coach who claims he knows analytics but really won't get the credit if they win. Jerry would get the credit if they win. But really, Jerry knows he can push around because he has very limited leverage because he was not in high demand. That's the problem. The owner/GM, Jerry Jones.
No, listen, this is an organizational failure on all three levels, players, coaches, and ownership. Very much like this defense is a failure on all three levels, front line, linebacking core, secondary. Now, when you look at this team, of course the players are going to stick together. I mean, this is as old as Varsity Blues. What happened? Mox, Tweeter, Billy Bob, Lance, they all stuck together. It was Coach Kilmer that was outside pulling his pants up, standing next to a statue of himself outside the high school. So you know that those guys are going to stick together. But even if the players stick together, yeah, Stephen A., you can coach effort, but you know what? You got to give effort. And you can coach it up and tell me where the X's and O's are supposed to fit, but I have to be there. And then who would have ever thought that having a sleepover wasn't the way to pick a coach? Yes, Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy had a sleepover. Two very grown adult men decided to do their business deal, to do their interview at a sleepover. What were they in onesies with the little buttons on the butt that you put up together? I don't know what that is. That's not the way business is supposed to be done. And so now you want to talk about analytics? You know what he said? This was a people problem he had today. And during that interview, when he was talking about the players and what was going on, the next question was, do you think you guys have gotten better? You know what he said? Well, the analytics say this ain't an analytic issue right now. They ask you a simple question from the point of leadership. As a team, since you've gotten here, have you gotten better? It's an easy yes or no answer. If you do have a Super Bowl winning coach, if you do have a coach that has coached one of the greatest players of all time in Aaron Rodgers, I'm not hiring you to tell me what the analytics say. I'm not going to come on this show and have Max, who loves analytics, have Stephen A., who's been in journalism his whole life. I'm not going to talk to y'all two people about analytics and journalism. I'm going to talk to y'all about football because football is what I lived and what I do. Mike McCarthy has lost himself. He ain't had himself in a long time. It was the wrong hire, which starts with the owner. He's the wrong coach, which is on him. And the players better play for themselves, because when this whole thing blow up, Jerry Jones still going to be a millionaire, and they ain't going to have no jobs.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.